Nau mai, hoki mai e kare mā e ki tā tātou pāpāhotanga anei tātou kei Waitangi kei te pēo whairangi whakatairanga ana i ngā whakataetai Waka Ama Hoingaroa āmotu. Me te aha e tino wai maria ana hau nā te mea kei taku taha ko tētahi no te hau kāinga tonu. Ara, ko Ralph Ruka, hei te pāpā tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe, mā tae, mihana ki a koe. Mihana ki a koutou ana hoki. Koutou e mā taki mai i ene o ngā reihi i tēnei rangi. Ai, ko tae mātou ki te timatanga o tēnei, te reihi tuaru o te rangi nei mā tae.
Ai, kua hiki ki taku mōhio te haki kākāriki. E ki te mai ana koutou i ngā waka taki rua, taki tahi.
Go Barnsley!
Taki toru an no hoki ki taku mōhio, engari e hanumi ana, e miki ana te wāhei ki ngā taumata rehi kei konei ko te hunga i raro iho i te rua te kaumā toru. Open Women's, Open Men's, Masters Women, Masters Men, Senior Masters Women, Senior Masters Men, me etahi o te Golden Masters anō hoki. Engari mā tō tātou rangatira mā ruka, te wehewehenga e whakamārama mai ki a tātou nā te mea e whārawa reihi, e rimarawa reihi kei konei.
E te kāna. And so today, whānau, we got there, the race has just started out there, and we have our OC1 waka out there, and also our OC2 waka out there as well. So those are our tāne that are starting this 16k race. Behind them in another 5 minutes we'll have our wahine tour that will start in the va'a, in our rudderless canoes. So they'll have some mahi out there. But great to see, we saw Tupu in the va'a race earlier, race 1. He's out there again for race 2.
With regards to the logistics around the difference between a va'a and a OC1, what are the differences there, Matua?
The difference is really having a rudder and not having a rudder. In terms of our ruddered canoe, our OC1s, our outrigger canoe 1s and 2s, as we just come up to some of these pictures, they have the rudders, so you're using your foot pedal to steer, as opposed to our va'a, our rudderless canoe. You, as well as paddling, you got a paddle steer as well. So bit of skill in that that's required in paddling our va'a, which our wahine tour will do in another few minutes.
Nā, mai i tāku e kite nei, from what I can see, there aren't many waves or swells to assist you with regards to preserving some of your energy in these races. So from my understanding, it comes down to muscle. But is this a preferred style or preferred condition for a kaihoi or not so much?
Yeah, I think, for our race at the moment, the conditions are good, but we like the bump, we like the waves, we like it a little bit of rough, especially in terms of paddling our OC1s, because most of those canoes out there, they'll be like between 10 and 14 kg, carbon fibre, nice and light. Like to catch those bumps, but yeah, she'll be a bit of work being done out there in terms of their paddle, because being flat, you got to do the mahi.
Kia ora, and even outside of this bay in particular, once we start moving away from the shelter of some of these maunga, how gnarly does the weather get out here?
Yeah, it gets pretty awesome out here. We saw last night, old Tāwhiri Mate was showing up last night, and she was a bit windy out there, and there was some good swells coming into the beach last night. So, but he anō he rangi anō tēnei, flat as.
Ka pai, and with regards to the number of participants, has this been a growth or a decrease in population when it comes to competitors here?
I think given that we haven't had a major Waka Ama event in a couple of years, we probably had a good increase in our kaihoi. Previous race, close to 150 kaihoi out there. Looks very similar in the second race as well, so some awesome growth, and hi kakana ngā whānau ki te hoi waka i te rangi nei, so ai.
So ignorance would tell me that 3 kaihoi will make a waka go faster, but is that not the weight of 1 times 3? When it comes to a waka, is it a bit heavier to try and propel a waka in the water, or is it better because you have more horsepower in the waka?
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit better. As you can see, our young ones here, they got 3 of them paddling the waka. And if you can work together, koia te mahi nui, kia hoi tahi, kia mahi tahi, i roto i tā rātou waka.
Tēnā koe. Nā, ki te mai ana koutou i tēnei wānei, he waka taki toru kei mua, kei muri tata ia, he waka taki tahi, he muri mai ia, he waka taki rua, e rua ngā waka taki rua no reira. He roto i tēnei pikitia noi honei, ētahi teka me ētahi tika, e ki ana tērā, me tere te waka e toru ngā kai hoi, engari muri mai tērā, ko tahi ana ki te kai hoi. And very fortunate as well, ladies and gentlemen, that we have a roving reporter, one of our uri no Hawaii, te o tātai matamata huanga no Hawaii, and we'll just cross over to Hina now. Hina, what's it like there?
Tēnā koutou. It's beautiful down here on the beach. The sun was just poking through, but generally we have a pretty thick cloud cover happening, making the conditions quite comfortable for the paddlers, I think. Ua malino loa ke kai ki ia kakahiaka, so the ocean was super smooth this morning, not a lick of wind, but we just feel the wind picking up a little bit, giving a little texture to the water, which will make it interesting for our rudderless paddlers today. We have 126 paddlers on the water. The men were first off the mark and the women just left, so it'll be really exciting to see how they all do in their V1 race. Back to you, Mataya.
Nei mai hoki mai e kare mai ki tā tātou pāpāhotanga, kātahi tonu i taku pāpā Ralph ka ki mai, ko tupu tērā kei te tuarua mai, I muri mai I te waka e toru ngā kai hoi. It did make me question my understanding of Waka Ama calculations, but it has to be someone like Tupu coming second to a third, to a OC3, ne?
Yeah, definitely. And you'll see him just drafting behind that three-man. He'll probably be sitting on the little bumps that's been created by the three-man in front of him. So he'll just utilise that so he can conserve his energy, around the 2 laps that he has to do.
Ko tētahi atu mea e karema, for those of you who have just tuned into our broadcast, race 1 was earlier today, and race 1 we were very fortunate to witness the majestic skills of both Tupu King and Casey Ngātaki. Tupu King taking the win in that race, and that was on a va'a, meaning that it was a rudderless waka. This time round, it is a ruddered waka, but unfortunately Casey Ngātaki did not register into this reihi, so it'd be good to see who can keep up with Tupu first and foremost. Secondly, how well Tupu does on the ruddered waka. Thirdly, how he can keep up, or whether he can draft behind that OC3 for the remainder of this race. But put it this way, why would someone wake up in the morning and tell himself, okay, I'm going to do 2 15k races in one day? Well, what's the thinking process of a pōrangi who would do something like that?
Awa e pātai pai tēnā mā tupuria. Hei, koia tana kai I e nei rā, no reira tēnā pia, a muri ake ka pātai tēnā ki aia. But yeah, you got to do the mahi to be able to do back-to-back races in one day. And I'm sure that he's done the mahi. He's looking really good at the moment, fit and strong. So it'll be awesome to see how he comes out in that race. And just earlier we saw our wahine toa start in the va'a, so they're just behind our tāne as we see our pictures.
It's also said that if someone is going to do that, going to put 2 15k races into one day, it's in preparation for a longer race. Let it be a super aito or an aito on another long distance race, or he ngaki mate, or to seek a vengeance. Say, if also take the theme of that second kaupapa, it'll be the Casey Ngātaki wanted to beat Tupu in that second race, but unfortunately he's not here. So for Tupu is to compete against himself, ne?
Yeah.
The testers ways to push those horizons of how far he can push his body, tinana. And here we have it, he's starting to pull in this OC3, looks like J19 OC3 here, and Tupu King following up on them. And we have another reporter out on the water at the moment, and he's not just any commentator. His name is Paul Rosendale. Now, Paul Rosendale is a kai hoi, or a veteran in our sport, so his breakdown on this race will be valuable for us to understand our hakinakina of Waka Ama.
Māori and Tere. They're trying to go with the other guys in the Gemini. And just behind that, if you can see the single, there's Steve Ralston. He's in second place in the OC1 in the white single in the back, and sitting in third place looks like to be Eric Waterson in the Draco as well. So yeah, it's all pretty bunched up at the moment with all the two-mans and the singles in amongst it. But we are only just over a kilometre into the race. They are starting to spread a little bit of a knock there, and the two-man just got out of shape. As you can see, there is a little bit of movement in the water here. You can see the two-man just sitting in the little bit of wake of the lead boat. That's how they're starting to pull away from everyone else.
Invaluable information by a veteran who's paddled for Team Goodyear in Rotorua, Mean DNA in Rotorua, and I think they were fortunate to win a gold in Tahiti, 500 metres once upon a time. Now, beating Tahiti on their own waters is something memorable and something that will go down in history. So Paul Rosendale's breakdown of their race is invaluable when it comes to our understanding of water and Waka Ama. As you can see, he's made mention of Tupu King, made mention of the water, and Tere and his papa Tere, they were in the first race and they've joined forces. They are in an AC2 at the moment, and they back out in the water. And the beauty of this Hakina Kina Neha Matua Ralph, not only can you paddle for yourself, but you can paddle for your club, you can paddle with your tamariki, and you're probably one who's been fortunate to have that before with your tamariki.
Tikana, yep. You can't beat that, eh? My father-in-law, Papa Wallace Poor, 73, and still paddling, and we love paddling with him. But just as we see here, you mentioned our Papa and son combination there, Papa Māori and Tere sitting in the back there as they take on this course, catching those bumps of those wake off that those boat. Just behind them, I believe that'll be some Ngā Hoi Horo Junior 19 boys in their pink shirts there. Probably Waitangi and the green over there. So these young guns, the 19s, they'll do one round. They got the 8 to 10k race, so they'll be gunning for it because they'll do one round and that's them over and done with.
Now, when it comes to racing waka, you have your extremely long races that you break it down into 3 or so days, and these are those Tahiti or Hawaii races. Then you have your long races, and that's a day race, and then you bring it down to your 500 or 250 at a nationals. So our long distance, you've seen just based on this broadcast that we've been able to fit 2 races in today, and in these races they're broken up into different sections, not only in age but in distance as well, based on your age group, and even waka. So we've spoken about the whole rudder concept, and that's how you navigate your waka, or you propel your waka in the water. If you press with your left foot, your waka will go left. Press with your right foot, your waka will go right. But when it comes to a rudderless waka, you have to do the whole steering and paddling at the same time. But in these 2-mans, ruddered again, and in the 3-mans, I think the third paddler is the steerer. So there's a lot of science behind all of this. It's not purely just paddling and trying to maintain your pace. And even on top of that, you have a fast pace for your 500 and 250 metres, and a longer and a slower pace when it comes to these long distances. But based on what we saw in the first race and this race, these paces are still reasonably close to a sprint style rhythm. So you ka tere ngenge te tangata. So it also tells you that they are absolutely fit and conditioned for this kaupapa. And what really are some of the finer scientific preparations that you know of, Matua, when it comes to a long distance?
Tikana. So they probably, in terms of this race, they have 16 Ks, and they'll want to punch it out for at least 2 or 3 Ks, just to get settled, get their bodies right for that hoi, and then they'll just want to settle in and just maintain that control, the power in their hoi and their blades, and just so they can maintain that energy that they need. As you can see, there's a big gap already, but yeah, just really firstly punching it out. You would have seen some of them gunning it, and now they're just easing into that long stroke, settling in so that they can conserve their energy and make their way around the course.
Now, if memory serves me right, we're at about an hour 10 in race number 1 with Tupu King and Casey Ngātaki coming to the end. So we have some time under our sleeves, ladies and gentlemen. But for those of you who have whānau members out there, please cheer at your computer screen because they can hear. And they'd love to hear the support. Ki te mai ana koutou takiwā o te kotahirau waka kei reira I tēnei wānei. There are some high-vis colours out there, so we won't miss any of them. If they're your whānau members, I'm sure they would have told you that they're wearing green, so please cheer for all the greens you see out there. At the moment, it looks like mo taku he I te kaha kāpō oku, ka harau te mohe kei te Wikitoria. Engari, ko taku whakapai ko taua OC3 me Tupu King I mua, ki taku mohe ko rātou tonu tērā I tēnei wānei. And there'd actually be some assistance, if you'd ask me, when it comes to, for Tupu to have someone to aki or encourage him along the way, because Casey isn't registered in this kaupapa in this race. Otherwise, he'd be out there on his own, trying to motivate himself and things of that nature. But what does it mean to have a kaupapa like this here in Waitangi and Te Tai Tokerau for you, Matua?
Well, especially being in te mano te tiriti o Waitangi, especially our mana whenua and our ahika, you know, to have a national competition, a national event up here with our whānau, Ngāti Rahiri. It's a big honour, you know, not only for us to be here, but for our mana whenua to witness such an awesome race, you know, and even more so to see our waka haurua tau mai I tēnei ata, you know, hakamana tēnei o ngā kaupapa I nei rā.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tupu King. I think the battle here is going to be between one man versus three. Now, if I was the under-19s in that OC3, by all means, I'd encourage one another to try and beat Tupu. And if I was Tupu, I'd encourage myself to try and beat 3 J19 men. So that's good competition and a good motivator for them both as they make the turn around our boy here at Te Pēr Whairangi. We're here at Waitangi, outside the Waitangi grounds there, in the presence of Koe te ingoa o te wakataua, Matu?
Ko te wakataua, ko ngā hiraka.
Ngā hiraka.
Ngā hiraka. Koea.
Mā taki mai e karema. Tupu King there.
Nice strokes coming in from our W3 there with our young fellas. Nice long stroke. Oh, there we go.
Katiko ki yaha katahuri. Now their job is to get their ama around, get around to the other side and hop back in and bail out whatever water they've harboured in their waka.
And haere toni.
And as Matua Ruff made mention of our OC1s catching the wake of some of their support boats, that's illegal, e karema. That is legal, that's doable, and if you to watch some of those races in Tahiti, they use that to their advantage. But as you can see, there was a waka, they got caught up in their buoy there, which led to them capsizing. Now that they in the predicament of having to bail the water from their waka, and because they're moving forward, they're pushing out some other waka further than the turn, and then you're going to see a waka sneak in, and that inside turn there. So you've got to the right of your screen, those who are leading the pack, those to your left who are still to make their turn, and ladies and gentlemen, out in the front is a three-man waka and Tupu King narrowly behind them.
Yeah, and you can see on the water too those ripple effects that are happening out there, and how our paddlers, our kaihoi, will utilise those little bumps. Even though they're little, they help you, a little bit. So they'll be utilising that bump out there, and As you've seen, easy for our OC1s to turn on their buoy up the top corner there. Our va'a that are coming up, soon you'll see that they'll take a bit of a wider berth, bit more skill in turning with no rudder.
Kia ora. Those are some of the that's advice from someone not only who knows these waters, but who has participated in many races to do with Waka Ama. And by all means, ladies and gentlemen, the two of the clubs here, the Kaumātua clubs, or the those who paved the way for many Waka Ama clubs in the nation, one being Mitamitanga Ole Pacifica in Tutukaka, and we have Ngā Hoihoro, some of the veteran pioneer clubs of our Hākinakina. And yeah, people like Chris Kelson, who was a waka builder, who contributed heavily to the revival of waka production in Aotearoa, those being the waka of Moana Nui. And in the Waikato, things go back to Hoturoa Kerr, who has been pivotal in the revival of Waka Ama, Waka Taua and Waka Haurua, and in Te Tai Rāwhiti, Greg Whakataka Brightwell. And because of them, we now have a Hākinakina that not only reflects our whakapapa, reflects our culture, but a Hākinakina where we can be Māori and where we can be healthy. Whutupōra rugby does not belong in Aotearoa, but by all means we took it with both hands. But Waka Ama is something in our DNA. These are the reasons why we are the way we are. These are the vehicles that brought us to Aotearoa from far away Hawaii. And in 2022 we can continue these practices that led to the livelihood of our ancestors. And here we are today, the Waka Ama long distance sprints here at Waitangi. And I'd like to say, and I'm ashamed to say, matua, te waiwai tapua hauki konei. So it's good to be here for such a positive kaupapa.
Ai, tika ana. And you know, I guess thinking about it and listening to your kōrero takes me back to 1990.
Kia ora.
You know, koia tētahi o ngā kōrero o Papa Hotu i nā pōra. Koia tētahi o ngā wiki rangatira, nā ko te matatini o hea te mei auara, me te nui, te maho o ngā waka, marungi te one ki Waitangi. No reira, ko tai mātou te rangi nei, te tini me te maho o ngā waka me ngā whānau, ko tai mai ki tēnei o ngā kaupapa nui o mātou.
That's always
tēnei rā ko te whakanui, tātou i te hoiroa, te kaupapa Waka Ama, te tai Tokerau.
Tēnā koe hoa. Hoi anō, tēnā kōrero mai ngā hītori o te wāhi nei, me ngā ahuatanga o tēnei wāhi.
Tuatahi tēnei whenua ko karangahia ko te tī, ko te tī pūwātea, he tupuna rongonui, anō kira he tatau paunamu wainganui e tīwi kāinga me tētahi o mātai whanaunga ki ngā mautere i utara, i wahora. Te tī koriro ki taku tupuna te kēmara, koe te mana nui o tēnei whenua. I tērā riro ngā te tī kiaia, ka moi rāua, ka puta mai ko ngā uri o te tai, tētahi whānau tūturu o te kāingane. Engari, te hiranga matu o te wahi e noho tūnei tātou, ke muri a tāua ko tērā ko kāmaka. Tērā kāmaka i haria mai e ngā mana nui a Hawaii, te tautahi mano i warauwaru te kaumā rima. I runga I tērā rironga o tēnā kāmaka, ko tapaina he tāhimi henare ki o mātou whanaunga o Hawaii, ko rātou te iwi ono te tai Tokerau, nā ko riro ki a rātou ko te ingoa Ngāti Ruawāhia. Ko Ruawāhia, te whakamaoritanga o ngā whetū a hoku lea. E nā herenga wainganui a Ngāpui e kia Hawaii, i kone tonu e pupuri tonu i roto i te kura rongonui i Hawaii, ara ko Kamehameha, tērā whare wānanga nui i timata mai kone i roto o Waitangi.
Tāhua rawa e rā kōrero e hoa. Nō reira kia kōrero anō tāua mo tēnei whakataitau nui whakaharahara e hare ake nei a pōpō. Nā, koe o kai hoe, koe hoki e tautoko ana koe i āwai.
Tautoko ana au i ngā kaihoi katoa mai rekohu taitonu ki te rerenga wairo. E ai pēnei, kia rongo whānui te au i te hiranga, hiranga nui o tēnei kaupapa, te hoi. Waka ki runga i o tātou wai kaukau ki runga i o tātou moana, o tātou awarāne. Me te tohe nui i a tātou o te kāinga, o te ao Māori o tira o tātou whanaunga take, kia tohe ki ngā taumā heke o te ao, kia riro ko tēnei kaupapa Waka Ama, he kēmu matua ki roto i ngā whakataitai o te ao.
Tika rawa e rā kōrero e hoa. Nā, ko te pātai nui, ka kite te marea i a koe runga i e rā waka hei tōna wā.
A tōna wā, engari a pōpono.
Ka pai tēnā koe hoa, hoi anō, hei kupu whakamutu ngā au ki te marea ki o hoa rānei.
Nau katoa mai, ki runga ki ngā wai kaukau, ki ngā wai tote, a kau te awha, whakatauki ia te kōrero, haruru ana te moana o Pēwhairangi, ko kau te awha, ko ngā tirahiri, ko te iwi Māori nui tonu, tēnā tātou.
Tēnā koe māpau.
Nei mai anō, e karema e noho whakatā ana maua, noho hānea ana maua, e whakanui haro ana, ngā pai ngā kōrero. He anō, kei kone anō maua, ko maua taku pāpā ko Ralph Ruka nei, whakatairanga nei pāpāho ana i tā tātou kaupapa mutunga ke mai nei o te hirahira kia koutou. Tēnā kia moko whiti atu tātou ki te hetu o ngā waiwai, kei wahora e ui ana i ngā tamariki. Hina, kei a koe te wā, crossing over to you, Hina.
That's all the ones at the back.
So all the ones at the back, the ones talking in front. The lovely ladies of Tai Kotuku.
Nau mai, hoki mai e kare mai. E kare mai i te mātakitaki ke au i a rāniera e rāweke ana i ngā pātene. Engari, tēnā koutou. Kia roha mai ki etahi o ngā hononga kino. E wawi ana etahi o ngā waia. Engari, kua hoki mai anō tātou. E kōrero ana ki taku pāpā nei kia Ralph mō etahi atu rehika ki te apea i tēnei rā. Kua ki te tātou i ngā rehi tāne waa. I nānei ko ngā wāhine waa, hea etahi atu ngā rehika ki te apea e tātou. Papa?
Ko ngā rehi e ki ana te ingoa ana ko te OC1s, outrigger canoe ones, outrigger canoe 2s, as we see our pictures come up with our W2s out there. Nice waka, these waka, nice and light and easy to paddle. Actually, these ones are... fortunate to have a paddle in one. I don't own one. Hohe nui te pūtea mō wena o ngā waka hau. Au e. Engari, ko huri tātou ki a hina anō, tēnā pēr he pai ana ki te haere, ki te tahi uiui ki te haukainga, arā ko te karapu, te Kotuku.
And they are only 2 years old and are doing really, really well on the Waka Ama scene. Jackie, can you tell us a little bit about your club, please?
Kia ora koutou, ko Jackie up out of Tupu King. Yes, we started up Tai Kotuku just 2 years ago, actually during Waitangi commemorations, and we took our incorporated society around our kaimahi to get our kamatu and kuia to support the kaupapa for our tamariki. And yeah, so Hama here and Auntie Billy, both some of our kamatu kuia have helped set up our club, and this is the product. Our babies intermediate team going to be out, the youngest, competing in the competition today.
Awesome, thank you so much. And Billy, can I ask you a couple questions about the beginning of this club? For you here at the marae, what has it meant for your babies and moko and people to be having a Waka Ama club here?
Well, it's a big thing for here, especially when we're right by the water and making use of the water out there. No, it's a big thing, and just to have our mokopuna, involved in Waka Ama has been huge, because it hasn't ever happened before here in Waitangi. So it is a big thing for us here. Ngāti rāhiri, ngāti kawa.
Kia ora, tāwe. And ladies, how have you found paddling? Has it been good fun for you fellas?
Yes.
So come around this way. Ask you a couple questions.
Go on.
Can you tell me ko waitu ingoa, and what's your favorite thing about paddling?
Kia ora, ko Trinity Tupu King. My favorite thing about paddling is being able to be out on the water with a group of people that I love being around.
Awesome. And what's the toughest thing about paddling for you? What's the thing that's the most challenging?
Not being able to eat lollies before a race.
It's not all those hard yards on the water. It's the not eating lollies.
Yeah.
And what about you, ko waitu ingoa?
Stella.
Cool, Stella, thank you for talking to us today. What about you? What's your favorite thing about paddling? What has it brought to you?
Paddling with friends.
Lane, you get to paddle with all your friends on the water?
Yeah, and having fun.
Nice. Do you have any dreams for what you'd like to do with paddling? Where you'd like to go? Maybe the world sprints, or what would you like to do?
I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of races out there that you could get to. And is it awesome to be right here by the water and be able to just like spin out on your waka whenever you want to?
Yeah, it's the best. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, ladies. Any last thoughts from you, Jackie, about the future of the club and things that you fellas would like to do?
Yeah, so this is obviously, we're doing the catering as well, and it's a big fundraiser for us, so we've got hopes to present these girls ready for hilo sprints. They will be very, very young for that, so if they don't go to that, we'd love to take them over to Hawaii anyway as an outcome from the fundraising. Yet to be decided, of course. I might get in trouble for that from my committee, but yeah, all the kaupapa is all for our kids, and to give them opportunities and give them new experiences in life.
Awesome. Mai kai ke hele o ko'i Hawaii he wahina ni. O ia ko'u aina hanau no leila. Hele aku no, hele aku no. Me koe e te matua. How's it been for you to have the club coming out of the marae here?
Well, I'm proud of them, for what they're doing. And it was still about nurturing them and a bit of discipline, something positive for them. So I'm right in support for what's happening, and I'm just so proud of them.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much to all of you, and good luck on the water today. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Ngāti rehia, ngāti kawa, e mihi ake ana kia koutou, manaaki mai nei a mātou, me ngā kai hoi o te motu. Now, if we take a look to the water again, we have out there in the Grey OC1, it is an OC1, Tupu King, and in the three-man waka, we have a team under 19s ki taku mōhio, and based on the singlets, I don't know whether they are hei matau or whatever, but they've been the motivators for Tupu, and Tupu have been the motivators for them in this race. In race number 1, we saw Tupuria and Casey Ngātaki, but today in race number 2, a three-man versus a OC1 hosting Tupu King. Kei te mōhio koe ki tērā hate matua?
No, kaori.
But this has been the battle of this particular race, this three-man. Kāre tonu te mōhio ki te
Tēnā
hingareti.
pēr hoi aroha o maua.
Ok, kia ora. Tauranga moana me he mea kua hoi aroha tērā. Nā, ki te mai nei koutou, as you can see, kei te tūru tuatori, the person in the third seat is the kai urungi. He doesn't hold the same pace per se of the one in seat number 1 and seat number 2. His job is to keep the waka as straight as possible. Keeping the waka as straight as possible makes that distance the pure length of that distance. That kai urungi is taking the waka into wrong direction ki te kotiti rānei. Ka roa ake tērā rehe. Engari, ki te mai ana koutou ko Tupu King tērā me tāna waka e whai urungi nei, that's a rutted waka, and this OC2 is another rutted waka. So all they have to focus on is purely is timing, strength, and rhythm. But then when it comes to a rudderless, one of them has to steer. But OC1s and OC2s usually provided with a rudder, but outside of that, kua tīmata te urungi, te kai urungi i te waka.
Ai, ko tētahi o ngā tīma no te kaipara, koenei i moi a tātou i tēnei rangi, a ko te W3 tēnā ko te pauherenga waka.
Kia ora.
Ai.
Aroha mai. Anei rā, tai whakatata mai ana ki te rarangi whakamutunga. Te pauherenga waka. Ko tata te tai ki uta. I waho atu i a rātou ko Tupu. I muri mai i a Tupu ko tētahi OC2.
Ai, ko tā rātou ingoa ko ngā rongo e rua. Rātou no te pauherenga waka. Te pauherenga waka ai.
Tupu cruising in the front. He was sitting behind the V3 for a bit, having a nice little ride, and now the juniors have actually just pulled off. They're only doing the one lap, and now you can see back behind Tupu here, we've got the two-man, and now we've got a change for second place. We've got Narada. Narada's he had a bad start, I saw that, and he was quite far back, but he's made his way through the pack, and now he's sitting in second. Tupu's just having some food here, have a look at that. He's having a drink. Narada's going to catch right back up on him. So yeah, Tupu, he is backing it up from his first V1 race as well, so he is doubling up when these other guys are quite fresh. But yeah, this is going to make it for a good battle. Narada is the current Poor Knights champion, so he's done well with a 30k race just a month ago. And they got 8k's left to go. Let's see who can break or carry on in this last 8k. But yeah, it's only 2 boat lengths now. It's really close between these two. And just behind them, we go back to Steve here in the white and blue canoe. Steve Ralston was in second place, but he's starting to drop back a little bit now. He needs to keep pushing to try and keep in touch with that lead pack. So that's who we got up. We got Tupu King in first, Narada Burry in second, and Steve Ralston in third place. All 3 of these guys were teammates at the World Champs in England just in August.
Nau mai hoki mai e kare mai ki tā tātou pāpāhotanga. Ai, kua rangona te takoto o ngā waka i roto i tēnei rehi tuatahi mai ko Tupu King. Me te aha ko te take i katai mai o taku pāpā ko Ralph. Nā te mea e whai ke ana tupu i te fiore o tērā OC3 mua tatākenei. Ka mutu te rehi, kua mutu ia ki te hoi i tana ake waka.
Oi, ko mutu tērā o ngā rehi mō ngā taitama. No reira, ko rātou tēnā no te pauherenga waka i toa i tērā o ngā junior 19s ni. No reira, e tika ana, horekau awhi mā tupu. No reira, e tatana tērā o ngā kaihoi i muri aia i tēnei wā, nā ko Steve Ralston, me tētahi atu anō. No reira, ko rātou tēnā e kahana, ko tēnā tupu, back-to-back races. We would have seen he would have got a bit of nutrition in. I did see him getting a coffee actually after his first race. Koia tēnā pe he secret tēnā.
Pono. And what we said earlier was that he doesn't have the luxury of being able to draft behind the OC3 because the OC3 have finished their race. So he's going to have to pull his own waka on his own. But we've just heard that the secret to the whole Tupu King saga is a coffee. Nothing else. No training, nothing else. It's all about the coffee. Engari, tēnei wānei ko ia wiki tori ana, and because of the inability to draft the waka, you have the second place getter drawing closer to him, but I can empathise with Tupu because he won the race beforehand. He won the 14k race before this, and it was a grueling race, purely because on his tail was Casey Ngātaki, current world champion, sprint world champion in Waka Ama. But at the moment here we have a 2-man, and I don't know if this is Tupu himself, but we have va'a. These are va'a, the shape of these waka. It takes a bit of training to understand the difference between a waka and a OC1. These waka, they usually have 5 va'a next to it. They are rudderless waka, so you have to steer simultaneously with your usual stroke. So as you propel your waka, you also have to keep your waka straight. So that takes a bit more mechanics and a bit more skill. But the AC1, those are ruddered, and to turn right, you just have to put pressure on the pedals in your waka and your left foot to turn left. And these are the type of waka I'm speaking about now. These are the ruddered waka. More often than not, they are manufactured in Hawaii or Aotearoa. Aotearoa, we have the luxury of having canoe builders or manufacturers who can build both type of waka, or a waka where you can take a rudder off. But usually in Tahiti, they are rudderless. In Hawaii, they are ruddered because of their swells and their waves. But yeah, those are some of the characteristics that some of our Polynesian islands have, and the Aotearoa style. But this style is very Aotearoa centric, no waves, and it comes down to sheer grit and muscle. In Hawaii and Tahiti is the understanding of tangaroa, te moana, and how to find assistance in some environmental factors that might make your trip a whole lot easier.
Oh, yeah, tikana. As we see some of our wahine in the va'a, they'll be doing the hard yards out there. They'll probably have a smoother ride than our OC1s, as there's no drag on their waka at the moment. But we've seen some of our open women's in those earlier pictures in the va'a, in those 5 va'a, out there on the water, coming down that first home straight for them, and then heading around for that second round. So awesome to see them out there controlling those waka nice and comfortable. You can see them nice and comfortable as they hoi and come down that leg, heading around for round number 2.
We had Tupu King there being passed by Steve Ralston ki taku mōhio. And here are some wahine who are participating in the long distance here. I think their one is 14 to 16k. Mo ngā open women's. Masters me pakeke ake i te whātekau. Senior Masters me pakeke ake i te rima tekau. Golden Masters me pakeke ake i te ono tekau. Ahua pēra ne?
Ai, tēnā. And as we see in our pictures, we have Chevy Reti out there from Ngā Hoi Horo, our coach, you know, that took our tamariki over to Worlds, that, you know, was recently just finished. So awesome mahi done by her and her whānau of Ngā Hoi Horo. Chev out there and doing well, paddling well. You know, I know what it takes to coach and paddle as well. So he hara te mahi māma.
Some of the other stalwarts of the wahine section are people like Karina Gage, Repoia Brightwell, Lana Hartstone, and now we've had the huge influx of the Horota paddlers with Kiwi Campbell and people from Maraikura and Horota, but it seems here that there's a big division between the two, purely because that Horota style is a preferred short distance, and we have a few tai Tokerau, and I think this is a Rotorua club in these long distance races. Nā i tēnei wā ko ngā wāhine va'a, ara kaore he āwhinatanga a urungi nei, they are rudderless, but he āwhinatanga ehu nei, te rere o te waka ahua elegant ake, te rere o te waka nā te makaore e tōnga o te rara. No reira, mā e whera, me pai ake tērā kaore rānei. Engari, ko Tupu King tonu i tērā i mua ki taku mōhio, engari e tōhipa ngia ana ia e Steve Ralston. Engari mea ahua pērā hoki kaore kore kua pau te hau o Tupu, nā te mai toa iaia te rehi tuatahi, rudderless, i te rehi tuatahi rā ki a Casey Ngātaki.
Ai, tēnā pia ko Narara Bury tēnā i mō i a Tupu. Hoi anō ko te pai wenei o ngā whanaunga tēnā pia ko ngā Master 70s o i reira e motu ana me ngā Junior 19s hoki. Nō reira e mihi ana kia koutou, mihi ana kia rātou, kua oti pai tēnā.
how many men she can overtake. Clearly a legend of a paddler. She's done lots of paddling based down in the Bay of Plenty at Makatu. And, she had in the first lap, second place was not too far behind her, but as you can see now, she's had a huge break and she's looking very comfortable and just continuing to build that gap between her and second place. And so now her goal will be to see how many men she can pass now.
Engari he whangai ki roto Ngāti Rehia e mihi kāna kia koutou. Kei konei mātou ki te pōhiri mō ngā whakataitai a motu mō tēnei te hoeroa. Nō reira, e mihi ana.
Ka pai. Tēnā kōrero mai, ha e pai paku hitori o tēnei wāhi ki te mōhio koe?
Well, e mohi ana pēr te ao katoa anei hoki te whānautanga mai o te tiriti o Waitangi, te hakaputanga hoki. Engari ko tui mai te iwi, ngā iwi o te motu ki runga ki konei ki Waitangi Ngāti Kawa, anō nei ko Ngāti Rahi hoki tērā.
Tēnā koe. Nō reira, kia hoki tāua ki te pātai mo tēnei kaupapa. Nā, kei te tautoko koe a wai.
Ngāti Rehia ki te ao, hashtag ngia I tēnā. I te ao I te pōku Ngāti Rehia hoki tērā aku, whaia me aku mātua hoki. Ai.
Tēnā koe. Nā, ko te pātai nui hoki, ka kite hoki te maria e a koe runga I te waka.
No, ka rongo kauti I taku reo kua hau tētahi o ngā kaipapāho mo tēnei wiki. Nō reira, are taringa mai. Pea, ka kite koutou I ahau mā runga waka haurua, aua. Ka kite pea.
Ka pai. Nō reira, he kupu whakamutu ngā au ki ngā kai mā taki ki o hoa rānei.
Ai, mena kei konei koutou ki roto I te tai Tokerau. Haere mai mā taki mai I ngā toa o te ao Waka Ama me ki. Ko hoki mai ngā whānau mai rāna nā hoki mai te whakataitai o te ao. Nō reira, ai, kei konei te wāhi me noho tahi ai te whānau. Kia ora.
Nice work, boys. Should be warmed up by now. Nah, we're good. Tupu and Steve Ralston has dropped back a little bit, so it's a two-way battle for now. And at the moment, Narada's looking really strong. You look at his reach there, he's reaching right forward. Nice strong stroke. Tupu's riding a little bit of his wake at the back there and having a bit of a rest. So it's going to be close. Should be a good battle when we come back to the last 3Ks to the finish. But yeah, awesome to have another close battle in this division. Tupu is backing it up from doing 16K from this morning, where Narada is a little bit fresh. But Tupu's no slouch, he's been over in Hawaii training over there. It's great to see Narada doing so well at the moment. He is quite a new paddler, and watching him push through these wake here, see if anyone slows down. Tupu has a few strokes there to push through it so he doesn't get drop back a little bit, but no, they're both going really good. This is going to be another tight finish like it was in the first race.
E ki te ake ana tātou, we've just seen some footage with regards to the placing at this present time. Tupu King taking a second place, to my understanding, in the OC1, and first place Narata Brewery.
Yep, aye.
Engari, I rongo rā tātou ngā kōrero Paul Rosendale, e ahua ngengi ana tupu nā te mei tai ai a tērā rehi tuatahi. What are some of your highlights on race number 1, that grueling battle between Tupu King and Casey Ngātaki Matua?
Yeah, so it's an awesome battle there, and you know, we know that these are our endurance races, and the fast pace that was going on out there in terms of the stroke, yeah, I'm not sure that they would have maintained that for the full 16K, so tēnā pia ko gassed out ngia Casey, but Tupu went back to his normal style of the big long stroke, so that we could see you know, the control that he had in terms of that last leg, that last 2 kilometres that he had. But awesome to see him out there again, you know. And yep, Narada, our current Paul Knights champion for 2022, and one of the hardest races, I think, in terms of conditions that it has been ever for the Paul Knights race. So I know there was a big race, some big seas, and not running seas either in that race. You know, they had a bit of a crosswind, a cross swell, so they didn't get a lot of rides in terms of surfing their way back from the Paul Knights back to Tutukaka. But good to see him out there. You know, he'll be pushing Tupu, and as we look at to our wahine toa out there, and the va'a and the rudderless canoes as they come down. And tēnā pia, those are some of our ngāhui horo or Ngāti Rehia paddlers out there. I think could be possibly even Auntie Tapi, but we'll soon find out.
Hi, Matu, and the keen diver in me is going to ask you the question of Spot X. Kei hea ngā kaura momona o tēnei whanga matua?
I taku mōhio, mea mai o tōku taina, kei whangaro tērā, i ngā wiki kei te heke mai, ko hoki mai ngā hea tērā o ngā packies, ne? Ngā kaura packies, ko hoki mai rātou hikoe ana, i te moana i tēnei wā, no reira, a koe te pānui, ko pānui hea tōku taina kia hau i tērā wiki, no reira. He Spot X tēnā.
Kei te kōrero mai pia, those from that area probably saying, Matua Ralph, do not reveal the location. Matua, do not reveal the location. Anei, hine moana i tēnei wāna i tētahi o ngā waka haurua, waka whakatere o Aotearoa, e noho ana pia hei uri ki ngā waka haurua kaumātua o tēnei takiwa, ko te aurere tērā, ko ngāhi raka anō hoki, kei te moana e tere ana i tēnei wānei, nā ko ngā punua waka haurua, ki te mai nei koutou ko ngā waka ama nei, ngari e pai te ki te koanga ngākau. It's soothing to see the revival of waka and the presence of a waka haurua here at the Waka Ama Long Distance National Championships. Tēnā koutou e whakatere nei tēnei waka rangatira o tātou ki konei ki Waitangi. Now, back to our races, we had Tupu King at the second place there, Narata at first place, and the difference in this race compared to race number 1 is that in race number 1, our men were in V1s, rudderless waka. Now they are in waka that hold rudders, but this race in particular is about heightening the attention in and around our wahine who are racing in those va'a. Again, e hika mai, this is a struggle and a half. I'll tell you why. One, because of the location and because you have to propel your waka. Yeah. 2, it's because you don't have the assistance of a steerer or a motor. You have to motor your own waka and you have to steer your own waka. So Matua speaks of the crosswinds. If the wind is coming from the right, then obviously you're going to have to pedal on one side for majority of the time. So that will play a big part in the level of exhaustion that you will have to endure. Imagine pedaling on one side for 100 strokes and on the other side for 3 or 4 strokes. So when you cross over into the men's section of this particular race, they have a rudder to assist them. But the downfall to having a rudder is the drag that that rudder has just to keep your waka straight. So there are pros and cons to both of them. The rudderless type of waka is highly preferred and seen quite regularly in Tahiti. The ruddered waka are the ones that you see quite often in Hawaii. I was caught slipping there, having a bit of a whakataha, but then we parked back up into our tūrisha and a bit more professionalism as we look back to the water. I'm sure our directors are trying to get us slipping a couple of times. That's the second time they've got me there. As if I have to pedal in 14 Ks. All I have to do is sit here and let the waha do the pedaling. Hea no, ko hoki anō kia koe matua.
Ai, tēnā pia ko ena o ngā wahine tō kei mua ake rā ko te haiata tērā o te karapu ki reira, a kei mua atu no reira e mihi ana ki aia tēnā o ngā whaia, o ngā tuāhine e hoi kaha ana kai runga i tō tātou nei moana. Nā koia tērā, ki te mātou i ngā pikitia o tērā o te wahine rā. Tēnā pia ko Ronnie Nuku, tēnā, taku mōhio, tēnā pia ko pō e haka maramana kia mātou ko Waitera i mua i te aroaro i tēnei wāno reira kia ora.
Kia whakawhiti ake tātou kia Paul Rosendale out on the water at the moment, who will give us a little breakdown on what's happening out there, purely because he's there, he can feel it. E rongo ana ia i ngā kare awaho, e rongo ana ia i te he, i te nganga, i ngā wāhine kei wahora. He ono tā mātou, he kōrero noa ki tā mātou e ki tēnei, engari ko ia kei wahora tuatahi tuarua, ko ia no hoki tētahi o ngā tautōhito. I roto i tēnei hākinakina no reira e mōhio ana ia ki ngā uauatanga e mōhio ana ia he ha te taumata o te ngengetanga e rongo nei rāta e mōhio ana ia he ha ngā kēmu a hine ngaro e kore ana I roto I o rātou nā hirikapu. Kei a koe te wā, Paul.
Not too sure who was in second place, but I think she was wearing a taniwha singlet, and it did look like third place in the women's was the Australian girl from Mooloolaba. I'm not sure of her name either, unfortunately, but yeah, right now, let's have a moment to watch Nikki cruise along. She's a very strong paddler. Obviously, if you're a female paddler at the moment and you're looking up to someone, Nikki's one of them. She's cruising along, and she's achieved a lot in her time paddling. So, yeah, check her out. She's nice and strong.
And who are you fellas representing?
Akarana.
And are you fellas new to this competition, or are you fellas a bit of experts, or what's the go?
Yeah, we've been paddling for a couple of years. I think this might be my third long distance nationals. Third or fourth, yeah.
Nice. And what's the longest distance you've done in terms of like single Waka Ama row or whatever?
Oh, it depends. For race, maybe like 14, 16. Yeah, but 6 men. For trainings are different. Training you go longer than what you race.
Holy! So what's like the go-to strategy if the wind was blowing into you? Is there like a bit of a strategy, or what's your go-to?
Just go as hard as you can. Yeah, go as hard as you can. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, well, that was all. And any last words to our audience or to your bros or whatever?
Hey fam.
Cheers, thank you, fellas. Kia ora.
Looks like here who we have just going around the marker buoy is Terina from Turangawawa, and we have Anne Kens closely following her from Hayata Sports. Yeah, I didn't see them at all in the placings before, but they've obviously done their training and they have passed the other two ladies that were there. I don't know where the other two have gone, but so yeah, we have Terina in second, Annie in third, and then just coming up to the buoy now on the right is Chevy Reti. And then it looks like we have the Australian girl further back as well. So yeah, good racing in the women's as well. They're coming up to their last 4K in the race, and should be the fittest will win. Nikki's looks like it's got it all sewn up at the moment, and yeah, Terina will be second, Annie third, Chevy is in fourth, and the Australian girl in fifth at the moment. But yeah, not much else happening out here. The wind has died off. There's not much swell. There's just fitness is going to be the key today, I think.
Nei mai hoki mai e kare mai ko te wāhiki ngā wāhine e tīmata te mutu haere nei. Engari ko e te ramatua.
Auara. Engari ko tata rāua ki te rāina hakamutunga i tēnei wā. Nō reira e mihina kia rātou. A tēnā pia ko Narara tērā, kai muri rā, i ngā W2 ki reira. Nō reira, tatana rātou ki te mutunga.
Ai, kua tata te tai ki te kotahi haora rua tekau meneti. I te takiwao te kotahi haora tekau marima meneti te wā i uai tupu rawa ko Casey roto i te rehi tuatahi, engari rehi tuarua rawa mai. Kei te ki te tātai ko ngā OC2s e nei, ko tata te tai mai ki uta. Engari ki taku mōhio ko tupu e tuarua mai ana.
Steve
Ralston tērā. Ka rei te mōhio me he mea kohi e wiki tōri ana e aha ana rānei. E re ko Steve Ralston tērā i roto i tana OC1. Kua huna ki muri, anei, e pērā rawa te tawhiti o te tokorua nei, kaupai, tupu ko tana rehi tuarua tēnei, e tuarua mai ana i tēnei wā nei, tuatahi mai ana i tēnei wā, ko Narara Brewery. E wiki tōri ana, engari kia mātakitaki ke tātai a tupu kei te pirangi ia ki te tuarua. O ana mētara koura mo tēnei whakataitai, hoi ngā roa.
Tēnā koe, you can see whānau Tupu starting to put in those big strokes now. bit more pressure on their blade as they come down to the final meters of this race, and I'm sure being that close he won't want to let the young fella in early, but we'll soon see. They're not too far, probably under maybe a kilometre to go, but we see some big paddles going in there by Tupu. Being that close, he'll want to put in a good hit out to catch him, but here we go too. Young Narada there putting in some big strokes too. There you go.
I want to let them know that there's going to be a pass happening here.
Type of strokes, these ones. Okay.
Can we go a bit closer to them?
I roto I ngā waa. V1, kaore nei he urungi, urungi kore nei.
Oi.
Engari, ko te pakanga mo ngā tāne, ko tupu rawa ko Narara. Kei konei ko ngā wāhine.
O taku waroha ko Niki Kingi tērā, I moi a tātou ai tēnei wā. He Masters Year, no reire kahane ki te hoitahi te taho o ngā Opens me ki. No reire mihi ana kia rāwatahi, e hoi ana e kahana ki te whawhai marungi te wai, no reire mihi ana. Ka tira, ko rātou tēnā, hoki tātou ki te mutunga. Ko Narara rao ko Tupu King, e hoi kahana I tēnei wā.
Ngā wāhine e nei. Niki King. E whakātu mai nei I te take kei konei ia. E whakātu ana I te pai o ngā whakaharatau. Ngā whakangungu I tai mai ai ia ki konei tēnei rangi nei. Kei roto hoki ia I tētahi o ngā kapa taki ono hira hira. Mo ngā rehi rimaraimita, ngā rehi poto, ngā whakataitai āmotu I karāpiro. Engari, kua tāpiri hia te takiwa o te kau mā whā me te hawe kiromita ki e rā rehi. Ko e nei rehi nei takiwa o te kau mā whā ki te kau mā ono kiromita. Te roa, estimation tērā, he whakapai noa era. Nā te mea e nei rehi e ua te ine. He ano, ko te ine ngā koe te mea tuatahi ki te rārangi whakamutunga. Nei anō.
And you can see, whānau, the time that these wahine have made up, there was a 5-minute delay between starts with our tāne and our wahine. And so our wahine, as we see, have made up 5 minutes, which just goes to show how strong they are in catching our tāne up at the back there. So, e mihi ana kia rātou anō.
Tupu King, kei te taha maui, kei te waka kiwi kiwi. Narara, kei te waka mā. Kua nei tātou ka kite ko ai, kanoho mai hei toa whakaihuaka. Mō tēnei o ngā rehe mo ngā tāne, whai urungitanga. Nā te mea ko tupu te toa urungi kore, anei, tuarua mai ko Tupu King, tuatahi mai ko Narara, Jury, Brewery, mo taku he. Anei Niki Kingi. E wiki tōria nei te wāhi ki ngā wāhine.
Yeah, they're starting to pull away from these guys.
Ai, ki te mai nei koutou I tēnei wānei ko ngā wāhine, enei hoki mai nei ki uta, enei rehi, enei waka rā hoki, he waka whai urungi. These are rutted waka, and these are the wāhine who wanting to place highly in these races, these long distance races. Some of them are formidable figures in the short distance 500 metres that usually happen at Karapiro in January, I te wā o te raumati. Engari, ki te mai nei koutou ko Chef Reti tēnei, wikitori ana I tēnei wānei, te hāte kākāriki tōna waka he waa. Kei konei anō hoki Niki Kingi, tētai atu o ngā toki wāhine no roto o tēnei rehi.
Ai, ko ia no te karapu o te haiata, rātou no Ngāti Kahungunu, mihi ana tērā no te kaumātuara I whakaaro hea ki tērā o tō mātou nei mauri, arā ko te matau a Māui, no nā te whakaaro, kua tukuna, kua tā, koha, tērā o ngā whakairo kia mātou ngā kaihoi o Aotearoa, hei mauri mō tēnei o ngā kaupapa o te Waka Ama Hoiroa, ia tau, hako te pauri nā, ko hinga ia I tērā wiki, kahana Ngāti Kahungunu, ki te poroporo aki aia, I tēnei wāno rere mihi ana kia koutou, te haiata Ngāti Kahungunu, kei te mihi.
Tino pai, ki te ana koe, hara I te mea he tere te manawataki, not the fastest of paces, but when it comes to these long distances, something you can maintain over 14 kilometres. Ko mātou enei pahu ana I uta nei, ngari kia whakawhiti atu tātou ki te moana, Paul Rosendale, over to you.
But it's been pretty cruisy for her so far. Second place is Ann Ken. She's still maybe 500 metres back. But yeah, Nikki's putting on a clinic here, looking pretty smooth, nice and strong. It's pretty easy, eh, Nikki? So yeah, it's good to have Nikki back racing. It's awesome. Clearly she hasn't lost anything. She's still out here doing her work and cleaning up everyone.
Kia ora no tātou hoki mai, titiro ana ki wene o ngā wahine toa I mua I te aroaro I tēnei wana, nā ko Niki Kingi tērā no te karapu o te haiata, koutou rātou ngā whānau no Ngāti Kahungunu, e mihi ana, e me mai egia nā e māma noi ho tēnei hoi mana, no reira tēnā, Ano rā, ko kite tērā o ngā kaihoi no parihaka, pia, ai, ka pai parihaka tēnā, nā ko Nairi pehi tēnā, tētahi o ngā kaihoi o te tai Tokerau, me tērā o ngā mema o te poari o ngā kaihoi o Aotearoa, ano nei ko hoki mai tātou, ki mua I tēnei o ngā reihi mō ngā wahine toa, arā ka hono tērā o ngā kōrero ki tērā o ngā wahine rangatira, ko maikuku te wahine rangatira, no te kāinga nei, tērā o ngā kōrero ko puta mai, mai te ahi te hau kāinga, I ngā pōra, ka hana rātou ki te puta mai ngā kōrero e pāna ki ngā tupuna o te wāhine o Waitangi, te mana o te tiriti, anā ko Niki Kingi tērā I mua I tēnei o ngā reihi, I mua iaia ko te waka o nā tuki mata whaurua no reira tēnā tātou.
Kātahi nā te rehi, mutunga ke mai nei o te hirahira, i kitea te hirahiratanga. We witnessed a earth-shattering race in the first one with Tupu King and Casey Ngātaki. Similarly, here in the Wahine race, but we also watched Tupu King and Narara in the Rutted OC1 race just before this. Engari, i tēnei wānei, ladies and gentlemen, we have Nikki King and a few other expert kaihoi. Here we have Nikki King here leading at the moment, but we have some others who have maintained their legacy and have become constant names in Waka Ama households throughout the years, and Nikki King being one of them.
Oi, ko i te rau ngā masters as she crosses the finish line. Nikki Kingi from Hayata Waka Ama down in Napier Hastings there. Homai te paki whānau ko ia tērā te wahine toa o tēnei reihi. No reira kei te mihi ki aia me o nā hoi ko puta mai.
Just for a second, we'll come up. Give me your pedal.
Just don't slip me out.
Grab a hold of that. We'll wait. We've got to wait to go live now.
Live? Oh, good.
All right. Nikki, you made it look very easy. How'd you feel and what was your game plan today?
Well, I haven't raced in probably 2 years, so I just thought I'd go out and treat it like a training, pretty much. I felt good. It was pretty easy. I was a bit concerned about all the turns, being I was in the rudderless, but nobody was in my way, so that made it easy too.
Yeah, but you led from start to finish and you just kept pulling away. There was a few changes behind you, but no changes up front, which is good. Good way to race. How was your fluids and your food? Did you have anything?
No.
No?
No, I had a couple of sips of water, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Really, no, it was good. I was just eyeing up the fellas in front of me and trying to close the gap.
Yeah, that's what we mentioned. We thought you'll be trying to pass as many guys as you can, and that was your motivation, eh?
Well, you got to do something when you've got sort of no one that you know of in front of you, so yeah, the men were my target.
Yeah, and that's what got you to pull away from all the other ladies. So, no, well done and congrats on another national title.
Thank you.
Nau mai hoki mai e karema ko Nairi Kingi tērā i uia e Paul Rusendale. Kōrero ana e hara i te mea i te titiro ia ki ngā wāhine i muri mai i aia, but her eyes and focus were more on the men in front of her, and when it comes to wanting to do something quite memorable in Waka Ama, it's to beat a male. So I think she achieved that goal today. And I think she can be absolutely proud of her efforts out on the Pewhairangi today, Ruka.
Ai, tēnā koe. And in her little interview there, you know, she made it look easy, and she said it was easy. So, you know, if you do the training, if you do the mahi, you get the treats. And koia tērā did the mahi. She said herself she treated the race as we haven't raced in a long time. She treated the race as another training session. So awesome to see that. So big ups and big mihi to Nikki Kingi from Hayata Waka Ama down in the in Ngāti Kahungunu. As we see another kaihoi wahine come across the sideline, and from right, I think she is from Tūranga Waiwai. Waka Ama. We'll soon find out. But hoi anō, e mihi ana kia o koutou katoa ngā kai hoi ko oti pai tēnei o ngā reihi.
Grab a holder. goodness. All right, like to get you while you're nice and puffed, but how was your race?
It was okay. I'm surprised with how it went. This is the first long distance nationals I've done in rudderless, so some of the girls took off pretty quick, and then I got passed by another couple of girls, and I just thought I kind of just need to hold my own stuff together based on how much long stuff I've been doing, and yeah, it paid off round the back actually. I managed to peg them back and get past. So.
Yeah, we didn't actually see where you were in the first lap. We saw the first 4 or 5, and I didn't think you were in that group.
Yeah,
and,
I think I might have been about 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, we went back to join the ladies, and we saw that you were in a battle for 3rd and 2nd. So, what was your game plan when you were chasing Terina coming up to the turn, boys?
Nice work, girl. Just to try and work what little bump there was. Like, it didn't look like she was maybe chasing stuff.
Yeah.
She had a pretty steady stroke rate on, whereas I thought I'll just try and work whatever bumps I can, and just use the water to help me catch up to her. And then once I caught up to her, just try and put a bit of a burst on and get away, and then just keep working everything all the way back. So. Yeah, I'm starting to learn how to paddle these.
Yeah, it looked really smooth.
I've got a lot more to go, but I'm stoked with it. It was hard though. I actually wasn't sure if I was going to race today, based on how I was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I was going to be a non-starter, so no, the antibiotics and the anti-inflammatories kicked in pretty good in the last couple of days, and old auntie's pulled through. So
wasn't too good on the drive up either, was it?
Oh nah, we've got a broken 2-man to deal with that came off our buddy's roof, unfortunately, but didn't hit any cars. He got a canoe to race today. Our mate's got a double to race today. So yeah, all in all, it was pretty good.
Oh, well done. You looked really smooth out there. Good posture and smooth. Congrats on your 2nd place.
Thanks, Paul. Unusual for you not to be out here, eh, boy?
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Koira te kai hoi I tai tuarua mai I te wāhanga ki ngā wāhine. Ko tērā nā kei ngā kōrero, ko homai ki a māua, hara I te mea toki ana I roto I te Waka Ama Kaunoa, engari he kai hoi K1, kayakin anō hoki I ngā whakataitai o rimipia. Nō reira, a kene pēr kei roto I rā mahi tahi mātauranga I tai tuarua mai ai, I tēnei wānei, there are probably benefits in knowing the water, not from a Waka Ama sense, but from a K1 sense as well, that help to gain that 2nd place today, te matua rau.
Yeah. Ngā mihi ki ai anō hoki I te mea, ai ko tapu rongo, ko tā māua rongo. She's a Samoan representative in tērā hākena, so awesome to see her. But I loved her comment about, I'm getting to learn how to paddle these things. She just come 2nd and she's still learning. So e mihi ana kia koe e te tuahine, a ko Anne Cairns tērā.
He pai te kite, kua tō te rā, kua ngaro tahi te kura I roto I te ao hākina ko ngā Carina gauges I rei. Ora tonu ana, engari kāre kaha kite I enei whakataitai, engari ko ngā te kura enei e pihi tonu mai ana. Me te aha kei roto pēr I enei taitamariki te Tupu King o a popo, koe ka mōhio. Engari koera te pai o tēnei hākinga kina e tō mai ana I ngā toki o te ao, e tō mai ana I ngā tamariki, e tō mai ana I ngā kaumātua. Kia hoki noa ke kia koe matua Ralph, te reo te haukainga, hei whakakapi I te wāhi ki ngā rehi tuarua o tēnei rangini.
Tēnā koe matai. Ai, ko tērā te rehi tuarua o te rangi nei. Hoi nāno ko uti pai tēnā pēr ta kato o ngā kai hoi I tēnei wā. Anō reire mihi ana kia rātau. Hoi anō, kia noho āhua moke matai I te reihi tuatoru I te mea. Māku te te mahi o ngā mokapuna i tērā o ngā reihi, anō re mihi ana kia koutou, a koutou ko hono mai, ko hakarongo mai ki tēnei o ngā pāpāho, anō re mihi ana, e mihi ana, e mihi ana.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned as we have race 3 for today's broadcast. We've seen race 1 with Tupu and Casey Ngātaki, the second race with our wāhine. Please stay tuned as we will broadcast the third race. These are the W6s out in Te Pēwhairangi. Kia au tonu mai, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou katoa.